Good evening. 20 years ago in Paris, A Rocha organized an evening for Professor Sir John Horton, who was then the co-chair of the scientific panel of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. In my memory, but I wasn't counting, although it was the time when we were counting everything, the chairs, the dogs, the number of sandwiches. I think there were 14 people who came out for that event. It was a little startling to me this evening. They said the Chan Centre, and coming from away, and when I walked in, I thought, this is the Chan Centre. It's not going to be like the evening with Sir John Horton. And it was 5 years later that A Rocha Canada was beginning to be the germ of an idea in Marco and Leah's minds and other people's minds. And again, I think 14 was a crowd in those days. And in my memory, so were basements at the typical venue. There were a lot of basements. We slept in a lot of basements. I think the office was a cupboard in somebody's basement. And it went on like that. So I want to say to anybody tonight who's feeling discouraged and feeling that change is very slow around these critical issues, that it's my perception that things are moving at warp speed. It is a remarkable pace of change. And this is really quite a remarkable event in that story. And I think the pace of change is nowhere more rapid than in the heart of one of the most conservative groups. And I can speak to that group because I myself am a Christian. We are deeply ashamed, actually, that it has taken so long for us to show up. It's been a painful process for Miranda and I in those 20 countries around the world, addressing often our friends in the Christian world as well as our friends in the conservation world, to discover the pushback and the skepticism and the cynicism. But things are changing extraordinarily rapidly. And it's not surprising because the care of the earth and the concern for the poor and the recognition of the value of biodiversity are at the heart of our faith. So this is, in a way, a very straightforward process of change. It is the wealthiest countries that are grappling with this at the slowest speeds, but even there's remarkable change. And I'm delighted tonight that this is such a mixed crowd. I want to acknowledge that there will be those here tonight who are skeptical about the science of climate change. You're welcome, because you're here and you're going to listen to somebody who knows what she's talking about. I know that there are many people who will be skeptical about the Christian faith, and I'm equally glad you're here, because the stereotypes I have found that people are carrying about Christians are often deeply flawed. But we welcome this new conversation, which is an inclusive conversation. We're all here. And if there's anything that's needed in the climate change debate, it is a different tone. It is the ability to disagree well. It's the ability to open our minds and to understand what research means and what biblical truth means. And this is a very welcome conversation. Everybody is welcome here tonight. And as Katharine herself has shown, this is a very hopeful season. Miranda and I have just spent 2 months in Africa with our team in Kenya and with our team in South Africa. And when Marku said, "Will you speak tonight?" I said, well, this is a Canadian thing. We're very flat in A Rocha, and in each country everybody does what they do. We share the commitments, but they do what they do. He said, no, this is an important international moment, and it's true, because those who are feeling the impacts of climate change around the world are the poor. They live an unmediated and an unmitigated relationship to these extraordinarily rapidly changing conditions. We have been with farmers in Kenya just very recently who do not know when the sowing season is, who, when the rains come, they come intensely and in a short way, an unusable way. These are the people who are not here tonight, but for whom we speak, and this is why it's such a vital occasion. So let this conversation, this unique conversation, continue well among us. And I just want to leave you with a little bit of inspiration. We're proud of all the A Rocha manifestations in all the different countries and cultures and languages and the things they choose to do, which are frankly crazy. The A Rocha Lebanon team have had a Syrian tank line not far from their study site for a while now. But A Rocha Canada does make us very proud and very moved, and we're just going to show you a short video which will give you a sense of what they're doing. So thank you very much for listening.
It touched me directly and started to impact how I looked at how I ate, how I communicated, how I transported myself. It connected me to creation, and I wasn't connected before.